Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this channel we provide the in-depth knowledge of different programming languages like C, C++, Java, Python, which differentiate you with others. In our series of Python programming for class 12, we have already uploaded 7 lectures. Today we are here for 8th lecture. So try to concentrate what we are discussing. In the last class we have already discussed if else, if else and nested if else. In that series, continuing that series, today we are going to discuss something known as looping statement. Let's start, try to concentrate. Python provides two types of loop. What is loop? If you want to execute a statement or a set of statement for n number of times repeatedly. This is a simple definition of a loop. If you want to execute a statement or a set of statements repeatedly for n number of times, we can use something known as loops. So Python supports two types of loops. First one is for loop and second one is while loop. Python doesn't support do while loop as the traditional languages like C and C++ supports. Let's talk about for loop. The for loop of a Python is designed to process the item of any sequence such as a list or a string one by one. One or the same thing, but we have discussed if you want to execute a statement or a set of statement for a number of times repeatedly, we can use loops. So usually for loop is used to process the items of any sequence such as a list or a string one by one. अगर किसी भी string में या list में, list is nothing but an array, one by one अगर किसी भी item को process करना है तो we can use something known as for loop. The general form of a for loop is for variable in sequence statement to repeat. In the for block, what we are writing, it may contain one statement, it may contain n number of statements depending upon the requirement of the application. The for is what? For is a keyword variable where we will have the value and in from which it should start and terminates. Let's for example here, for element in 10, 20, 30, 40, print element plus 2 and with space. The output will be 12, 22, 32 and 42. After every iteration, it will access one element from the list and it will store in element. The element will have first iteration element will have 10. Say for element in every element, for element in each. मतलब 10, 20, 30, 40 के अंदर हर एक बार में एक एक एलिमेंट पे स्टोर करते जाओ. For element in 10 in first iteration 10 will be stored in element, in second iteration 20 will be stored in element, in third iteration 30 will be stored in element, and in fourth iteration 40 will be stored in the element. What we are trying to do, we are trying to print the value of element by adding 2 to that number. That is why we are getting the output 10, 22, 32 and 42. 2 is added to 10, then next iteration 2 is added to 20, next iteration 2 is added to 30, and in the last iteration 2 is added to 40. That is why we are getting the output 12, 22, 32, 42. Any doubt you can ask me, otherwise we will proceed further. The above loop executes a sequence of statements for each of the elements for a given sequence 10, 20, 30, 40. So what we are saying, the above loop executes a sequence of statements for each of the elements of a given sequence 10, 20, 30, 40. और हर एक एलिमेंट के लिए किस सीक्वेंस में, सीक्वेंस फ्रॉम 10 to 40, ये हर एक एलिमेंट के लिए एक बार वो एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. The above loop execute a sequence of statements for each of the elements of a given sequence 10, 20, 30, 40. तो हर एक के लिए एक एक बार वो एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. To keep the count, it uses a control variable element. In that takes a different value on each iteration. First value 10, the next value of sequence is 20, then 30, and lastly it is taking as a 40. That we have already discussed in few minutes before. Now next is we are learning one range function, the range based for a loop. So with the help of this range, we can specify from where we have to start and where we have to terminate. For number based its list, we can specify range function to represent a list. Let's talk about for val in range 3 to 18, print val. So it will start from 3 and terminates with 17, means 1 less than the stop range. Start from 3 and stop at 18, not at 18, stop at 17, means minus 1. So it will display the value from 3 to 17. In first iteration, val will have value 3. In next iteration, it will have value 4. In next iteration, it will have value 5. Up to 17 it will go and it will display 3 to 17. So what is range? Range is a function. For number based list, we can specify range function to represent a list. Let's see some more example. In the above loop, range 3 to 18 will first generate a list from 3 to 17 that we have already discussed. In the above example of range 3, 18 will first generate a list from 3 to 17 with which for loop will work. We need not to define a loop variable val beforehand in the for loop. तो हर एक आइट्रेशन में एक एक वैल्यू किसके अंदर स्टोर होती जाएगी, वैल वेरिएबल के अंदर. रेंज प्रोड्यूस एन इंटीजर नंबर सीक्वेंस. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट रेंज स्टॉप. एलिमेंट्स फ्रॉम 0 to stop means if I write range 10, so it will start from 0 to 9 and it will increment the value by 1. So it will iterate how many times? 10 times from 0 to 9. Next form is range start comma stop. In this case, we can specify a start number as well as stop number. So by seeing this different version of range, what we can say is this range function is overloaded. Getting my point? As well as they are having some default values, parameters also. We are not moving down to that direction ki whether it's overloaded or a default argument. So if we are not specifying any value, if we are specifying only one value like range 10, the elements from 0 to 9 and it will increment by 1. So it will iterate or it will execute 10 times. Second, when we are writing range start comma stop, so we can specify a starting number as well as stop. Elements from start to stop minus 1 increment by 1. For example, if I write say range 1 comma 10, so it will start from 1 and it will terminate with 9 and increment by 1. Third version, range start comma stop comma step. Start means 1, stop means if 10, तो from 1 to 9 execute कीजिए. Step अगर मैं 1 लिखता हूँ तो it will increment 1 by 1 from 1 to 9. Elements from start to stop minus 1 increment by step. जो भी value specify करोगे. We will see some examples. The start value is always a part of the range. The stop value is never a part of the range. Stop minus 1. If I am saying 18, so it will go up to 17. But if I write 1 or 1 comma 18, so it will start from 1. It will be a part of a range. But if I write 1 comma 18, so 18 will be not a part of a range. Executes from 1 to 17. The start value is always part of the range. The stop value is never part of the range. The step shows the difference between two consecutive values in the range. मतलब हर एक बार में कितने इंक्रीमेंट करना है. द स्टेप शोज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन टू कॉन्सिक्यूटिव वैल्यूज इन द रेंज. इफ स्टार्ट वैल्यू इज ओमिटेड, इट्स सपोज टू बी 0. दैट वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन हियर. यहाँ पे हम स्टार्ट स्पेसिफाई नहीं कर रहे हैं तो बाय डिफॉल्ट इससे लेके चल रहा है वो 0 से. इफ स्टार्ट वैल्यू इज ओमिटेड, it's supposed to be 0. If the step is omitted, it is supposed to be 1. और अगर आप step specify नहीं कर रहे हो तो by default it will increment by 1. Let's see some example. If I am saying range 7, it will start from 0 and it will go up to 6. If I am saying range 5, 12, it will start from 5 and it will go up to 11, stop -1. And if I write range 5, 13, 2, तो what is 2 here? 2 is a step. तो दो नंबर वो इंक्रीमेंट करेगा. दैट इज वाई वी आर गेटिंग द आउटपुट 5, 7, 9 and 11. It will not include 13. And next one is range 10, 4. तो 10 से 4 तो जा ही नहीं सकता, तो no value will be generated. Then here we are having range 10, 4 -1. See the difference. When I am saying 10, 4, तो here step is missing. Step always increment by 1. तो 10 से वो 4 में increment करेगा तो कभी जा ही नहीं सकता. लेकिन when I write 10, 4 -1, तो it starts from 10 and terminates with 4. -1, 1, 1, 1 करके आप वापस आ जाइए. तो कहाँ से चलेगा? 10 से स्टार्ट होगा और कहाँ तक जाएगा? वो 5 तक जाएगा. Getting my point? Go through this. If any doubt, you can ask me in the comment box. I will try to reply in 24 hours. Next, we are having some programs. Write a program to print cubes of a number in the range from 15 to 20. तो प्रोग्राम की रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है कि आपको एक क्यूब डिस्प्ले करना है फ्रॉम द रेंज 15 to 20. तो 15 से स्टार्ट होना चाहिए और 19 तक जाएगा. या 15 से 20 अगर डिस्प्ले करना है तो 21 लिखना पड़ेगा. तो हमने क्या लिखा? फॉर आई इन रेंज. नथिंग स्पेशल अबाउट आई. यू कैन हैव वैल, यू कैन हैव ए, यू कैन हैव बी, यू कैन हैव सी. तो हियर वी आर सेइंग फॉर आई इन रेंज 15, 21. नाउ जस्ट ट्राई टू see the English meaning of that. For I in range. इस रेंज के बीच में हर एक आइट्रेशन में आई में वैल्यू को इंसर्ट कीजिए. फॉर आई इन रेंज 15 to 21. तो फर्स्ट आई इट विल हैव 15. क्यूब ऑफ नंबर आई एंड्स इज आई * 3. तो व्हाट इज * इज सॉरी एक्सपोनेंशियल ऑपरेटर. तो 15 to the power 3. तो 15 into 15 into 15 will be displayed. So up to it will go up to 20 and it will display all the cubes of a number starting from 50 and terminates with 20. Any doubt, you can ask me. You can try this program in your Visual Studio. If you are not able to get the answer, just ask me in the comment box. I will try to solve your problem. Write a program to print square root of every alternative number in the range 1 to 10. तो हम क्या बोल रहे हैं कि हर एक alternative number का आप square root निकालिए. रेंज कहाँ से रहेगी? 1 से लेके 10 तक. तो what we have to specify? For I in range 1, 10, 2. अल्टरनेट नंबर मतलब एक एक नंबर को छोड़ के निकालिए. कहाँ से स्टार्ट कीजिए? 1 से स्टार्ट कीजिए. कहाँ तक जाइए? 10 मतलब 9 तक. अगर 10 तक करना है तो आप उसको 11 कीजिए. एज इन दी प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन वी आर स्पेसिफाइंग 20 तक करना है तो हमने क्या लिखा? 21. फॉर आई इन रेंज 1, 10, 2 मतलब दो करके आप इंक्रीमेंट कीजिए. प्रिंट स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ आई इज आई टू द पावर 0.5. तो यू विल गेट द स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ every alternate number in range from 1 to 10. So this is how we can use loops. We will try to do more problems. We will have one practical class after this loop session. In that practical class, we will try to solve n number of functions relating loops. Next is while loop. While loop works exactly as for loop. The only difference is what? The syntax. The way of writing while loop is different from for loop. Now if somebody asks which loop is better, whether it's a while loop or a for loop, what will be your answer? Your answer will be it depends. Depends on what? Depends upon the programmer. If a programmer is happy with the while loop, So while loop is better than for loop. If another program is happy with the for loop, तो for loop is better than while loop, because ultimately दोनों loop का काम क्या है? To execute a statement or a set of statement for n number of times repeatedly. किसी भी एक statement को या number of statements को आपको repeatedly execute करना है, तो we can use something known as loops. A while loop is a conditional loop that will repeat the instruction within itself as long as the condition written remains true. वो लूप कब तक एग्जीक्यूट होता रहेगा? जब तक कंडीशन आपकी ट्रू रहेगी. जनरल फॉर्म इज वाइल इज अ कीवर्ड, देन लॉजिकल एक्सप्रेशन कोलन, देन बॉडी ऑफ द लूप. Where a loop body contains a single statement or a multiple statement or an empty statement, that is past statement, that we have discussed in the last class. If you don't want to do anything but you have to specify a statement, so you can specify a past statement, it will do nothing. Getting my point? That is why what we have written, where a loop body contains a single statement or a multiple statement or an empty statement, that is past statement. The loop iterates while the logical expression evaluated to be true. When the expression becomes false, the control passes to the next statement after the body of the loop. Getting my point? This we have already discussed. Na? The three main parts of any loop is, first one is initialization, second one is condition, and third one is increment or decrement. If you ignore any one of these, your loop will execute with undesired result. So you have to specify these three things. First one is initialization, second one is second one is condition, and third one is increment or decrement. So let's take an example. Write a program which will calculate the sum of digit of a number. Nothing special about while loop. You can use for loop to write a program. Getting my point? So what is your requirement? Your requirement is a user will enter one number, and on the basis of that number you have to calculate the sum of digits. Suppose user enter 123, so you have to do 1 plus 2 plus 3. Output will be 6. Simple. Input, enter the number. Here we will asking a number from the user. Input will receive that number. It will be in a form of string. You have to cast it into integer with the help of type function int. Then s is equal to 0. While कब तक एग्जीक्यूट करते रहिए? जब तक n की वैल्यू 0 के बराबर नहीं, n इज नॉट इक्वल टू 0. तो जब n 0 हो जाएगा तब ये लूप टर्मिनेट हो जाएगा, अदरवाइज वो एग्जीक्यूट ही होता रहेगा. So how many times this while loop will execute? It depends upon the value of n. While n is not equal to 0, कोलन तब तक आप एग्जीक्यूट करते रहिए जब तक n की वैल्यू 0 नहीं होती. तो हमने क्या लिखा? t is equal to n modulus 10. What this modulus will do? It will give the remainder. Suppose 123 divided by 10, तो t will have 3. s is equal to s plus 0. s की वैल्यू यहाँ पे कितनी है? 0. 0 plus 3, 3 will be stored in s. Then n equal to int n divided by 10. Now n divided by 10 returns floating point number. But what we want to have integer. So again we have to cast that floating point number into integer. Getting my point? So n is having 123. 123 divided by 10, you will get 12. 12 will be stored in n. Is 12 is not equal to 0, condition satisfied. t equal to n modulus 10. t n की वैल्यू कितनी है यहाँ पे? 12. 12 modulus 10, 2. 2 will be stored in t. s is equal to s plus t. s की वैल्यू कितनी है? 3. 3 plus 2, 5. 5 will be stored in s. n is equal to int n modulus 10. n की वैल्यू यहाँ पे कितनी है? 12. 12 divided by 10, n will have 1. Is 1 is not equal to 0, condition satisfied. t equal to n modulus 10. n की वैल्यू कितनी है? 1. 1 modulus 10, t will have 1. s is equal to s plus t. s की वैल्यू कितनी है? 5. 5 plus 1, 6. 6 will be stored in s. n is equal to n divided by 10, n की value कितनी 1 divided by 10, answer will be 0, while 0 is not equal to 0, condition false, and it will come down to the next statement after the body of the loop. And after the body of the loop, what we are trying to display? We are trying to display the value of s, that is 6. Any doubt, you can ask me. In next class we will start something known as break and continue. So what is loop? Loop is a, if you want to execute a statement or a set of statement for n number of times repeatedly, so we can use something known as loops. Python supports two types of loop. First one is for loop and second one is while loop. Ultimately दोनों loop का काम exactly same है. The only difference is the way of writing or the syntax. Getting my point? This is your while loop and this is your for loop. Then range is a function. The number based list, we can specify a range function to represent a list. तो अल्टीमेटली रेंज भी क्या करता है, एक लिस्ट को जनरेट करके उस पे वो काम करता है. सपोज इफ आई राइट फॉर वैल इन रेंज 3,18, व्हाट डज इट मीन्स? वी वांट टू क्रिएट अ रेंज फ्रॉम 3 टू स्टॉप -1, दैट इज 18 - 1 17. तो 3 से लेके 17 तक वो एग्जीक्यूट करेगा और हर बार वैल्यू वैल में डालता जाएगा. फर्स्ट आइट्रेशन में वैल की वैल्यू 3, सेकेंड आइट्रेशन में 4, फिर नेक्स्ट आइट्रेशन में 5. इन दिस वे इट विल गो अप टू 17. ओके, आई थिंक वी शुड स्टॉप हियर. In next class we will start something known as break and continue. And if you like the content of this channel, please like, share and subscribe as much you can. It will motivate us. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.